be, ladies and gentlemen, the SkyDome.
SkyDome Countdown is brought to you by Labatt's Blue, the clean, true taste of Canada. By Esso retailers and agents across Canada. By Nabisco Brands Limited, manufacturers of quality food products. And by your local bottler of Coca-Cola Classic. Can't beat the feeling.
SkyDome will open on time. The words echoing around the stadium early this morning, and Stadium Corporation of Ontario President Chuck Magwood handing out hats to the workers. We did it. SkyDome opens, say the hats, and that's happy news indeed to Magwood and to the hundreds and hundreds of workers who've worked so very hard on this project, and for the great number of fans who've crowded into the building over the last couple of days for last night's dress rehearsal and for the opening, the levee, which was held earlier today. Hi, everybody. Welcome to SkyDome Countdown, live at the Dome. It has been 20 years since the dream of a Dome Stadium in Toronto was first proposed. Tomorrow night, 974 days after the first sod was turned, more than 55,000 people will gather here to celebrate the opening. In the next 55 minutes or so, we want to give you a taste of what this complex is all about. You'll meet just a few of the people who've helped to make the dream a reality. And while the dream itself is some 20 years old, it's only been in the last 6 years or so that the push to get a new stadium really gained momentum. Among those who were key to the effort is former Ontario Premier Bill Davis.
We have reached a decision as to the site. We have the necessary information to proceed with the construction of a first-class stadium on that site, and we have assurances that it can be equipped with a retractable roof that will in fact work.
While talk of a new stadium for Toronto had been echoing around the city since the 1960s, it was the inclement weather during the 1982 Grey Cup game that proved to be the final straw. It took almost 4 years to pick a site, put together the financial package of government and private dollars, and design a stadium. Getting private sector funding was critical. The project might never have developed on government money alone.
That meant you got some of the best talent in Canada for nothing. And beyond that, you got an ongoing commitment from major corporations with all of their employees, with all of their customers, with all of their marketing promotion. You got that ongoing commitment. Look, we'll help make it happen, and once it happens, we'll make sure it's successful. And that to me, I mean, that's the key ingredient. I think it still is one of the key ingredients.
First shovel into the ground, October 3rd, 1986. 974 days later, the project is ready to open. It was a difficult task. Much of the roof technology was brand new. And because of the timelines, workmen were building one part of the stadium while the architects were still doing the design work. Chief Architect Rod Robbie had some specific goals in mind.
One, the great sight lines. You can really see the action close up, so you can see what you came to pay for. The fact that there's enough toilets and concessions with tons and tons of, with many more washrooms, and also many more for women than men in the proportion, so that they don't have to queue up for a long time. That it's easy to find your way around, and that there's a great variety of other facilities there. It's not just a good baseball, football stadium. It's a place where you can go and have a great dinner, nice bars. There's a Hard Rock Cafe. There's a hotel if you want to stay there. There's a health club. There's a lot of other things. It's a destination. You go there to have a good time, even if it's not a game on.
I kept coming back to this original solution of taking that circle, simply dividing it up into 4 equal parts, and then sorting out where these panels have to move to fit in all at one end. And there was only one solution that allowed that to happen, which was two middle panels moving straight back and the end panel moving in a circle. There just wasn't any other solution that was apparent.
When the stadium is enclosed, the roof covers about 8 acres. At its highest point, it is 31 stories above the field, and it can be opened or closed in about 20 minutes. No small achievement for a structure that weighs more than 2,000 tons.
SkyDome, of course, will be Canada's third dome stadium, and while its technology is now state-of-the-art, its designers learned a lot from the experiences in Vancouver and in Montreal. Here's TSN's David Pratt.
BC Place is the first covered stadium in Canada, and its 10-acre size has completely changed the skyline of Vancouver. Construction began in April of 1981. 2 years and 2 months later, the stadium was officially opened. In November of '83, 60,000 fans jammed BC Place to witness the first ever Grey Cup game played indoors. Over the last 6 years, BC Place has hosted numerous events, everything from rock concerts to trade shows. But what most people react to is the roof. The total weight, 315 tons, and it is totally supported by air pressure from 16 fans.
What is also impressive about BC Place is the fact that it was finished on time, and at a total cost of $126 million, it came in under budget.
The Olympic Stadium roof officially went up on April 16th of 1987, in time for the Expo's home opener on the 20th. On several occasions so far, the roof has been raised on a trial basis. However, the roof will not become fully retractable until June the 30th of this year. The Olympic Stadium roof is part of a complex that includes a tower, the world's tallest incline tower, that also houses an observation deck, offices, and eventually will also have a hotel. The total cost for all this when it's finally completed is $250 million. The stadium itself costs $600 million. In Montreal, I'm Michael Whalen for SkyDome Countdown.
All right, Michael, architect Rod Robbie mortgaged his house to get the money to submit a design for SkyDome. He took a chance and it really paid off, but that may have been the first difficult competition that ever involved this building.
In what respect?
In the sense that you had a tough fight to win the contract to design the SkyDome.
Oh yeah, well, it was Mike Allen and myself. You know, we started off with this idea. It's like climbing Mount Everest. It's there, so you go after it. And so, you know, we did it, and somehow or another you forget about the cost and you become, it's like a design-aholic. You know, you get involved in the thing and you can't stop. And we figured we knew how to do it, so we just stuck at it.
How many times did you change your mind over the last 4 years or so of the project?
You mean in the design
in
sense?
The design.
Oh, we did in the first part, the first 6 months, we did, oh, I suppose 20 designs, which were quite different. And, you know, they were failures, those things, and then we homed in on the way to do it, which was to make it telescope. And then I'm sure you've heard before that Michael had this brilliant idea, which is out there now, you know, and is the roof.
Rod, your thoughts after 4 years, 5 years, 6 years of work on this project? Tomorrow night it opens. How do you feel about it?
Oh, it's great. It's absolutely fantastic. It's, you know, once in 4 lifetimes. It's a great, great feeling, you know.
Yeah.
It's like the pinnacle of a career.
And you knew it would open, didn't you? I mean, you invited half of England here to see it.
That's right. Well, not a half, but a very selective quarter, at least. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being with us. Rod Robbie, the chief architect of the SkyDome. Well, there have probably been 100 architects or more who've worked on this project over the last 4 years, but there's one other man who must be singled out indeed. He's with Jim Van Horn right now. Jim?
One of the bigger celebrities here at SkyDome opening is Michael Allen, the engineer who's responsible for the roof here at the Dome. Did you ever think it would get to this point where you'd be signing autographs on opening day?
Well, I must admit I wasn't thinking of autographs. I was just trying to get the thing done and finished and working, and that's happened now, so I'm as excited as I hope everyone here is excited.
This really has been a special day, hasn't it?
It's been absolutely special, and tomorrow opening day, I hope the rain holds off. It's going to be another exciting day.
Now, is it going to leak because it isn't completely finished, is it?
That's right. There is some membrane material on the roofing that's not quite complete yet. As you remember, we had some pretty horrible weather in April, and so that not all the membrane is on. There's only a little bit left. In fact, you can see it from the outside.
It'll be a nice little shower if it does.
A little bit of a shower, but you know, this building's going to last for 100 years, so if it takes another few weeks to finish the membrane, I think that's okay.
Michael, was there ever any doubt that it would work?
There was never any doubt in our minds at all. I mean, there were a few anxious moments, obviously, when we moved it the first time, but no, we didn't have any doubts. Once we had come up with this design, we knew this was it. It solved all the problems and was going to do everything what we were looking for and everything that the Stadium Corporation was looking for, which was a completely retractable roof stadium.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Michael Allen, the man responsible for the roof at SkyDome. Back to you, Peter.
And there is the roof of the SkyDome in the partially open position right now. Just think this all started out with a crayon and a serviette on an airplane between Toronto and Ottawa. And 5 years later, here we are with a retractable dome, the first of its kind anywhere in the world. And yes, indeed, it does indeed work. Live at the Dome, still ahead on the SkyDome Countdown, solving the problems of how to get here. No problem at all. Stay with us.
Something with improved cleaning power. Something that is designed for better performance. A premium gasoline. A premium gasoline that can help deliver peak performance in cars that demand more than regular. Announcing the launch of new Esso Supreme gasoline.
SkyDome Countdown, live at the Dome, with rehearsal for the opening ceremonies about to start just over 25 hours away until the gala begins tomorrow night. So much has been written about the horrendous traffic congestion in downtown Toronto. Indeed, it's the first thing critics of the SkyDome site point to when they offer criticism about where the building's located. But the simple fact is that SkyDome's location is central to Southern Ontario's public transit terminus at Union Station. And if everybody drove a car to events, there'd be congestion no matter where the stadium is located.
First of all, there is parking, some 17,000 stalls within a kilometer of the stadium. The lots are spread out over a wider area than they are at Exhibition Stadium, and so access to and from the area is, in fact, better than it is at the X. Be prepared, though, to pay up to $20 to park close to the site. And a reminder, there is no public parking at the stadium itself. Public transit to the Dome, though, remains the best way to travel. Extra GO train service and more buses, streetcars, and subways will handle the additional crowds easily. Whether you drive your car or take public transit, you're going to walk the last few steps to the stadium. There will be 3 access points from the north side at Simcoe Street, John Street, and Peter Street. Direct access from Union Station via the Skywalk to the stadium site will be available by the end of August. There'll also be access from Spadina Avenue on the west and from Harbourfront via York Street on the south. And there will be access for charter buses, taxis, and Wheel-Trans vehicles via the Esplanade entrance on the south side of the Dome. Planners are hoping that crowds will come and go gradually, that there are enough activities in the area that the public won't wait till the last minute to show up, and will stick around for a while after an event is over. Still, there are bound to be a few lineups, at least until people find the system that works best for them.
Make tracks to the Dome is the theme of the public transit campaign. Those who hold tickets to SkyDome events can ride the subway for free during the month of June. I don't know how often we'll see the mayor on the subway. I do know that Art Eggleton is a big supporter of public transit. Earlier today, John visited with the mayor at City Hall.
With a very happy and proud Mayor Art Eggleton on the steps of City Hall. I guess when we talk of transportation, we have to ask you how you're going to get to the Gala Open on Saturday.
Well, the way to get there is by public transit, and that's how I'll be going. And people, if they have to bring their cars, should leave it somewhere a few minutes walk from the stadium so that they're not bringing a lot of traffic congestion right into that immediate area, and then walk in from there. But public transit is really the best way to get there.
After the week that you've had, I guess transportation, public transportation to this facility is the least of some of the problems that you've gone through.
Well, it's been nip and tuck to get this stadium finished on time. The workers have put in a lot of effort to do that, and I'm quite proud of them and quite proud of the product that they've produced for us.
Must be a pretty proud moment for you, City Council, and everyone who has been involved in this construction, because it is a state-of-the-art facility, second to none in the world, at least for the time being, till somebody copies it.
Well, I've been involved with it from day one, and it is indeed a proud moment. It is a awesome structure. There's none other like it in the world. Not only the retractable roof, but everything from the artwork to the hotel that's in the face of it. So many different aspects of this make it just a great downtown stadium, and a good piece of architecture as well, and something I think we're going to have a lot of tourists coming from around the world, and somebody eventually probably will copy it, but we had it first.
Thank you very much, and enjoy the opening.
Thank you.
SkyDome countdown, live at the Dome, looking through the hole in the roof. But again, the roof is retractable, and it does work. It fully closes, and as you look over, you can see the shot of the stage there with the Jumbotron in the background. And, of course, they're getting ready to rehearse the opening night gala to be staged tomorrow night. Well, Mayor Art Eggleton has been around this project since its inception. He, in fact, was the big winner when the downtown site was picked a few years ago. But there's another man who played a key role in site selection. That was William G. Davis, the former Premier of Ontario. He's been down at the Dome all day today, enjoying a look at a stadium that he had a hand in creating. He's with Jim Van Horn. Jim?
Mr. Bill Davis was the Premier of Ontario when the idea for the SkyDome was hatched. This has got to be a very, very special day for you, sir, to see this thing completed.
I think there were some days when I wasn't sure it was going to happen, although, of course, for the past couple of years I knew it. And I'm just very excited. A lot of people deserve a lot of credit, mainly the fellows who put it together in the last while.
It was really nip and tuck. Someone described it last night as a grand slam home run and extra innings to get the permit to allow this building to open, but it's nice to see the day has finally arrived.
It's tremendous, and perhaps the Blue Jays will see what has happened here and get that same sense of urgency, etc., so that your telecast, which you do so well on TSN, and I'm sitting in Brampton because I can't get into town, I can enjoy them.
What do you think this is going to do for the province, sir?
Well, I think it'll do a great deal for the province. You know, I come from a small rural community where you do have your own signal there through cable called Brampton. No, listen, I'm teasing. It will be a great thing for the province. It's not confined to metropolitan Toronto. It's here geographically. Obviously, it's related to the other facilities, but people will come from all over this province to see events here, as they will come from many parts of the world in the United States.
Thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
Back to you, Peter.
Thank you, Jim. All right, it's time to go on a tour of the SkyDome now. Who better to conduct us than yet another of the people who played a key role in making this complex a reality? Here's John Wells.
Former Metro Chairman Paul Godfrey had a vision about a dome stadium for Toronto 20 years ago. Some dreams take a little longer to realize than others, but here you are.
Well, there's no doubt it has been a 20-year dream. It's been a long pregnancy, but the birth of the child has been well worth it. And fortunately, I've been able to play a part on the political stage, and now in more recent days as a part of a consortium member. And the Toronto Sun became a consortium member just a short time ago, and we're going to be doing the guided tours, the Toronto Sun tours.
Are you the official tour guide on a day like today?
On a very special day, and I want to take you on the very first Toronto Sun tour.
The inaugural, I'd be glad to come, because I want to see every inch of this place.
Come along, we're going to see it together.
Once you get inside the actual stadium part to see the 55,000 odd seats, it is nice to see that the turtle flies, and I guess the best news of the past 10 days is the fact that the $80 million retractable roof works perfectly and just about on time.
It works perfectly. I think everybody will be really excited about that. No doubt that's the star of the show. But the press box where we stand in right now is really the best press box for the best sight lines anywhere in North America. We've gone around, taken the best out of each one that we could see and put them all together in this area so that the media can have a view of the game as well or better than the fans have.
It's nice to see you're taking care of some very important people.
Very important, because they've got to make sure those that can come to the stadium get the best account of it. I'd like you to come in and see the Toronto Sun private box. I think this is the lap of luxury living.
Is this nicer than the media area?
I think it may be just a slightly nicer. Over here is the kitchen area. You can see where you can prepare drinks. If you even got a dishwasher in here and a refrigerator. As you come into the living room area, people will be able to enjoy watching baseball, football, or whatever type of game you really want to see. You can even watch it for concerts in here. You have a camera, you have a TV set out there where you can get all the instant replays, so you don't have to come out of your seat. Out there are 14 seats. It's a pretty good way to watch a ball game, and it's really a luxury living at its best.
Luxury living does say it pretty well, Paul. I mean, this is a nice place to be at any time.
No doubt about that.
Paul, it's going to be a very different way for a lot of people to get to a ball game and enjoy it.
There's no doubt about that. First of all, we're in a selected area. The seats are all theater-type seats. They're sort of padded and comfy. You can either come to a restaurant like this after or during the game, get your concession snacks a lot easier, and then you can even go outside and sit outside and enjoy things while the traffic leaves the stadium before you head home.
Not to mention the fact that you'll be able to watch the game on closed-circuit monitors in these selected club areas.
No doubt about that. Wherever you go, there'll be televisions close by.
This is our view of the $17 million Jumbotron video replay scoreboard from seats in the Esplanade. It is noisy here right now as construction continues, Paul, but I think by the time we see a baseball game in this ball yard, it's going to be just as noisy down this bleacher line.
There's no doubt about that. The noise level will be just absolutely incredible in here, especially with the roof closed. But you're absolutely right. Here we are sitting in the Esplanade level. There isn't a bad seat in this house at this level or at the sky deck level. But the seats here, in fact, at where we're sitting now is probably better than any seat in Exhibition Stadium.
Well, you can say that now because this place is almost open. This is going to be a magnificent facility for a lot of people to come and see as they visit Toronto from all parts across Canada. And the Toronto Sun is going to conduct tours of the building, and I don't know every hour of the day, but all year long.
Yes, each and every day there'll be tours of the stadium because we're going to get in behind the scenes as well as in the bowl of the stadium as well. And we have tours booked now for many weeks into the future because the interest in the stadium is phenomenal. So the Sun will be putting on these tours, and I think the tour alone is going to be an exciting outing for a lot of people.
So when you get to Toronto, if you're coming in from somewhere else in Canada, make sure you ask for the Sun tour and tell them Paul Godfrey sent you.
Absolutely. I hope they'll do that.
Thank you, gentlemen. One of the keys to the planning of SkyDome since day one has been the care and concern for the special needs of the handicapped. Special washrooms and concession lines, extra railings, and special aids to give the hearing impaired a chance to enjoy the sounds of SkyDome events. All have been taken into account in the stadium's design. With more, here's Jim Van Horn.
Larry Hodgson is a city planner, primarily responsible for making sure that buildings such as this are accessible to the physically handicapped, and this really is an accessible building, isn't it?
That's right, Jim. I think that when it's completed, it's going to be one of the most accessible buildings and actually a model for others to follow throughout the world.
But it's not going to be accessible just for people confined to wheelchairs.
No, it's going to be accessible.
Sound behind me as the dress rehearsal for the opening gala continues. This is the SkyDome Countdown, live at the Dome. Still ahead tonight, food for thought and food for the tummy. Stay with us.
Fly ball, left field, Polonia going back. A home run! A grand slam home run for Lance Mullenix.
Word for it. It works just fine. Just under 25 hours to go until the big gala ceremony to open the SkyDome tomorrow night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Well, there's been a lot of thought given to making SkyDome a people place, a place to enjoy more than just baseball and football. The planning has included the commissioning of several works of art, and in fact, if you're coming to the stadium from the north side, you'll see some of the artwork before you step inside the SkyDome. Everything from nachos and cokes to Chateaubriand and champagne at the SkyDome and at the SkyDome Hotel, which opens in time for the Grey Cup in November. Concession food for crowds of up to 60,000 people will be handled by one of the world's best-known restaurants.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's at the SkyDome.
That's the president of McDonald's Canada, George Cohen, and tell me how the idea came about to move into the SkyDome.
Oh, God, it was a great story. About 4 years ago, I was on the beach in Hawaii at Christmas, sort of relaxing with my family, and the phone rang, and it was Trevor Eaton. He literally found me in Hawaii, and he started talking about the concept of the SkyDome, and it was infectious. As he talked about it, I just got more interested and more interested, and that's really how it started.
Now, this is the largest McDonald's in North America, the second largest McDonald's location anywhere in the world.
That's correct, and we have over 10,000 locations in 50 countries, and this is the biggest in North America.
All right, now let's move over to Glenn here and talk just a little bit about the stadium fare here, because it's a little bit different than the usual McDonald's. Hot dogs, nachos, and a few other things.
Yeah, what we did is 2.5 years ago, we decided to start developing the menu, John, and what we knew we were going to do first was put 4 McDonald's locations here, serving the traditional McDonald's type products like Big Mac, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, whatever. On top of that, what we did was we researched and went to a number of ballparks and found out that a lot of people were looking for some of the traditional products that you'd find in a ballpark. So we came up with hot dogs, peanuts, and popcorn, and we've incorporated those into our Sky Snack locations. We have 20 of those in total. On top of that, we're putting in 9 vending locations. That's where the food vendors will go to pick up all the food and serve it to the fans in the seats.
It looks to me like you guys have made a pretty good deal moving to this location. What do you say, George?
Well, actually, we're happy to be involved with the whole thing. It's exciting for Toronto. It's exciting for McDonald's. I guess we set out when we first got involved in it to do it right, to make sure that we were delivering the quality and service and cleanliness that we deliver in every one of our restaurants across the city. So that was the first thing. But as far as a great deal, who knows? It's certainly exciting.
Great deal, George. What do you say?
It'll be more than just a sports arena. There'll be an opera and a circus here later on this summer, and there'll be lots and lots of concerts. One of the principal concert promoters in this country, of course, is Concert Productions International, and we have Joe Owens with us. He's the Vice President of Marketing for Concert Productions, and I guess you'll be watching the Rod Stewart concert on Thursday night of next week with more than a little interest for the first event in the building.
We'll be watching it very closely, Peter. I think that as anything, it's a baptism of fire when you're doing something the first time out, but it's a great venue, and it has a lot of great opportunities that other venues may not have. We found in studying the access to the venue and things like that, people are going to be excited about it. They're going to be excited about the location of it, and we're really looking forward to a great new venue in Toronto.
You're not going to use the whole 55,000 seats, are you? You're going to go with something a little smaller.
Yeah, we'll be going with a configuration about half the size of the venue, and not the entire 55,000 first time, positioning the stage in such a way that everybody at the concert will have a good view of what's going on.
You learn from it, I'm sure. The public learns from it. The performers themselves have to learn how to work a building this size.
It's any new building presents a lot of new peculiarities and a lot of new nuances that are specific to the building. And to be an artist coming into a new venue, you're not always sure how the audience will respond because no one's really used to how it works. But it's an exciting opportunity, especially for Rod Stewart, to be the first artist in a new venue in a town where he's so incredibly popular.
Should be a lot of fun to watch. Thanks for being with us.
Terrific. Thank you.
Joe Owens of Concert Productions International. And speaking of concerts, one of the rock's most durable stars makes SkyDome history next Thursday. And I dare say, tickets are going fast. Looking at the CN Tower through the roof of the SkyDome in downtown Toronto. This is the SkyDome Countdown live at the Dome. Now under 25 hours until the opening gala tomorrow night. It's a pleasure to welcome Paul Henderson, the chairman of the Toronto Ontario Olympic Committee, and a man who's been hosting an awful lot of VIPs in the world of sport in this city in the last few months as he campaigns for the bid to get the Olympic Games to Toronto. There's another one coming tomorrow, appropriately enough, for the gala.
Yes, we're having the head of the International Baseball Federation. Baseball's now an Olympic sport, and they want to have their World All-Star Game here next September. And they'll bring in the Cubans and the Taiwanese and the Japanese and the Dominicans. We got enough of them already. But they'd like to come here and have their All-Star Game, so they're coming to take a look tomorrow.
And you've had some other federations in. You were telling me the gymnastics people think they could stage a very nice event in this venue.
Yeah, I suggested to them they cut it down to 30,000, and they said, no, we can fill 60,000, leave it at the total size. So they're just knocked out by the facility.
You've been a businessman in this city for a lot of years. I'm sure you're a native-born Torontonian, just born across the harbor at Ward Island, as a matter of fact. How about having a building like this in this city? Your thoughts as a businessman, as an investor in the project, and as a Torontonian?
Well, I take a look at it, and I can't believe that anybody started it. I mean, when you walk in here and take a look, the concept that went into this is just overpowering. It's just magnificent.
Thanks for dropping by. Always a pleasure to talk about the Toronto Ontario Olympics. Appreciate you coming by.
Thanks, Peter.
Paul Henderson, the chairman of the Toronto Ontario Olympic Committee. Well, baseball and football give SkyDome about 90 dates a year. The Argos will open their '89 season on the 29th of this month with an exhibition game against Winnipeg. I think the football players will get a kick out of playing here after playing at the X for so many years. Let's find out, shall we? As Hank Alisic and Lance Chomick join John Wells. John?
Okay, Peter, we wanted to find out if this is going to be, in fact, a kicker's ballpark. I know you guys haven't had a chance to kick a football in here, but let's start with you, Lance. What are your impressions? Is it going to be a good park for kickers?
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be a fantastic park for kickers. I mean, obviously, we're protected from the wind to a certain degree, and, you know, when the dome's closed, that's going to even be that much better.
Hank, what about hang time in a place like this?
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I know for one thing, we don't have any more excuses in respect to weather. So when we make a mistake, I don't know who we can blame except for ourselves.
Tell us a little bit about the adjustments one might have to make with the roof open or the roof closed.
That, again, we'll have to see once we're on the field and adjust from there. It's hard to say until we're down there.
What about this for the Argonauts and the Canadian Football League? You guys have to be pleased about this. I know season ticket sales are up quite a bit, and this is your new home.
it's going to be a boost to the club and the league in general. It's great for the fans. There isn't a bad seat in the house, and it's very positive. It really is.
Lance, can you compare it? I guess it's a little difficult to compare, but the only other ballpark you've kicked in indoors is the stadium at BC Place.
I think this is going to be a different concept because of the fact that the roof is not air supported. So when it is closed, I think it's going to be a much better and more exciting park to play in right here.
Have you ever seen anything like this ball yard, Hank?
No. Maybe in my dreams, perhaps, but this is reality now.
You're in architecture a little bit. I know you like to design things. You were talking to the architects. What's your reaction from that point of view?
I think he's a brilliant man. He deserves a lot of credit, and it's all the credit to him. It's a beautiful facility, it really is.
Final word to you on the facility, Lance.
Just aesthetically, I've been inside here. I've been wandering around for the last, half hour, and it's just a fantastic facility. I can't find anything wrong with it.
Nice to get a chance. We got to go quickly to kick the Grey Cup winner in a ball yard like this come November, huh?
Sure hope I'm here to do that.
All right, we'll see if you are.
Okay.
All right, thanks very much to Hank and Lance. Pete?
Thank you, John, very much. A look ahead to tomorrow night's gala opening. Stay with us. This is the SkyDome Countdown, live at the Dome. We'll be right back.
Where you can be reached. Travel with a friend or two. And don't forget to stick to well-lighted areas. Avoid talking to strangers and never accept gifts from people you don't know.
Labatt's Blue. It's the way we play.
The SkyDome Countdown, live at the Dome as you look from the south to the north at the Jumbotron at the north end of the stadium. Now about 24 hours and 40 minutes to go until the opening gala. Tomorrow night's opening gala will be spectacular. High-tech with the complex as the main star, supported by some of the top names in Canadian entertainment and by thousands of volunteers who will be part of the fun. There are still a few tickets left for the gala tomorrow night, but they are going quickly.
André-Philippe Gagnon is one of the hottest names in entertainment right now. Those who saw him at the Grey Cup dinner in Ottawa in November were unanimous in their praise. Those who didn't have another opportunity to see him at the SkyDome Gala opening on June 3rd. Gagnon will join actor Alan Thicke, SCTV's Andrea Martin, pianist Oscar Peterson, and the Toronto Symphony in an all-Canadian cast, a supporting cast, if you will, to the main star of the show.
We've created the show from top to bottom, and we have cast that show. We have found the people who we thought who would serve the idea and the concept of the show best, and that's what we did.
That concept is to make SkyDome the star of this 90-minute party, a party which is expected to attract more than 55,000 spectators.
Walk and then sing, babe. Ja, please, knee, and hop. Now we walk.
And then there are the volunteers, the people from Southern Ontario who have put in long hours since rehearsals began.
Of this week is we have watched Canadian technology design a revolutionary new stadium with a retractable roof, the first in the world. It could be the backdrop for the Olympics someday, a World Series someday, and Jim, definitely a Grey Cup in 1989.
Well, a lot of talk has gone into the Toronto SkyDome, but I really think this is a Canadian SkyDome. This is a facility that could bring the country together. We're going to see CFL teams from across Canada. If you can envision a World Series possibly between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Montreal Expos sometime.
That may be a year out.
It may be a year or two down the road, but we're not just talking Toronto baseball and football. We're talking tennis events, basketball, motocross events. The spectrum is so very wide and varied that it's something that everybody, not only in the city, but the province and the country can really get involved in and take pride in this building.
It is the world's first retractable roof stadium, and it is set to open tomorrow night, just like everyone said. We never had any doubts, did we?
Absolutely not, and I think they say the sun was shining in Toronto today. Actually, I think it was probably Chuck Magwood's smile that was brightening everything up.
Okay, Jimmy, thanks for that. Pete?
Thank you, gentlemen, and that is our SkyDome countdown. It'll be a great party here tomorrow night, now just 25.5 hours away, and though it will be late next fall before the whole complex is finished. Whether you've got season tickets for the sports events or you're a visitor to the city, this place is one you'll want to see. It has been fun sharing it with you on Sports Desk and on SkyDome Countdown the last few months. We thank you for joining us. I'm Peter Watts. For all of us at the Sports Network, again, thanks for being with us. We'll see you at the SkyDome.
SkyDome Countdown has been brought to you by Labatt's Blue, the clean, true taste of Canada. By Esso retailers and agents across Canada. By Nabisco Brands Limited, manufacturers of quality food products. And by your local bottler of Coca-Cola Classic. Can't beat the feeling. Promotional consideration provided by Iseco, suppliers of quality safety footwear since 1938.
You're watching TSN, the Sports Network.